Well, speaking of books, A Year on Our Farm is the title of a novel new book written by Robin and Anne Talbot from Ballycolling, County Laois. Anne, a former farming journalist, and husband Robin, a well-known beef producer, collaborated to put together a quasi-illustrated, colourful and informative diary of a typical year on their farm. The year in question was 2012, and last week the book, probably the first of its kind, was published. And I'm delighted to say that Anne and Robin join me here in studio this morning. Good morning, and thanks very much for coming up from Laois. And first of all, what prompted the idea? Was it your craving to get writing again, or was it trying to bridge that gap between urban and rural?
I suppose at some subconscious level it was actually a desire to get back writing, but I didn't really see it as that at the time. I just thought that there was a story to be told out there, and how could we do it? And I suppose it seemed like maybe the obvious marriage, with Robin being the beef farmer and me the ag journalist.
I mean, it's turned out fantastic, but the amount of work that went into it, I'd say, Robin, was unbelievable. I mean, was it a difficult decision, an easy decision for Anne to write, but a difficult decision for you, because farmers are notoriously coy. You don't want to be letting everybody outside the farm gate know your business.
Oh, absolutely, but I suppose, Damien, one thing about us, I suppose, we've always been an open farm.
Right.
And farmers see through the proverbial very quick, and so to see you for what you are. And but the book was interesting, because there wasn't really a eureka moment with it. It evolved into what it is, and it exceeded our wildest dreams, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and Anne, it's such an easy read. It's not technical, and I think that was the what you wanted to achieve here, is that ordinary people, if we want to call it that, non-farmers, can read this and discover, oh, that's what happens on a farm. And you've done it in month by month. So we're now in April, this is what we do. We're now in June, and this is what we're doing on the farm. Yeah,
we certainly had this idea of trying to bridge the gap between farmers and non-farmers. And so we try to write it in a way that's accessible to everybody. And if there was language that was technical, we would put in a few explanations here and there. But also in a way that farmers might get something from it too.
Yeah, and I mean, you've beautiful photographs. You went around with your camera as well, and everybody that came onto the farm to help you or do a test or whatever like that was photographed and snapped shyly in some cases, but they did it. Robin, we heard at the start of the programme there, low cattle prices, farmers protesting, saying they're not getting enough and whatever like that. Now, is that IFA spin, or is that true? You're a big operator, and fellas listen and say, sure, Robin Talbot's a huge farmer, but you're still a farmer. You got to make money. And you've done an interesting exercise in the book whereby you've calculated how much it is for you to rear an animal from its birth till you sell it to the factory, and how much you get for it. Just tell us about that. I mean, do you make money in the marketplace?
The reality is, and I suppose it comes through in the book, which was a bit of a culture shock for me when we actually pulled the figures together and saw it. We're producing beef at 10 cent a kilo below the cost of production.
So how do you make money?
Our single farm payment.
Right, the Common Agricultural
Policy.
So if you didn't have that, you would be losing.
We'd be losing. And more to the point, I suppose, the rural area would be losing, because it's not like, I won't deny we have a substantial single farm payment, but we don't stockpile that. When we get that, that's spent.
Because a lot of people don't like the idea. Why should farmers? Why? I own a shoe shop, or I own a hairdresser's. I don't get a subsidy from Europe. So how do you answer that criticism?
Well, I suppose that the simple answer is, in the book, there's several people are profiled there. In reality, they have more of our single farm payment than we have. People coming on, giving services, our local co-op. Single farm payment comes, you go up and you pay your bill.
You're buying feed, you're paying the vet,
absolutely,
all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you would be seen, and I'm not promoting, but you'd be seen as a top-class farmer. You put a lot of work in, you're producing, Rolls-Royce sort of animals, and yet you're losing money. So it's impossible for the ordinary 5/8 farmer to make any money unless they get this single farm payment, or unless we're willing to pay more for our beef. And we heard Pat Byrne, the butcher, saying earlier, people have gone away from beef because it's too expensive. So it's a terrible conundrum.
Definitely without the single farm payment, beef farming in rural Ireland would come to a standstill.
Yeah. And you talk, I suppose, a lot about the personal side of things as well. I mean, you're a Limerick woman. Yourself and Robin are married, 11 years now?
That's right.
Met through farming, I think.
Right,
you were reporting and he was protesting.
Absolutely. Some things never change.
Exactly.
And but I mean, you moved in with Robin and his mother. You're an only child, Robin, and your dad had passed away. Oh, your sister, right? Okay, but you were living at home with your mother on your own. I mean, was that difficult? And again, you're from different religious backgrounds too.
Yes, we are. I'm Catholic and Robin is Church of Ireland, but it never arose at any stage as anything between us.
It does, though, in some farmsteads, isn't that
Yeah,
true?
absolutely. I mean, in many cases, people it just doesn't work, and it can in fact
resentment from parents.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
No, I was always made feel welcome. There was never a problem at all. And I mean, I personally know of an instance where there was a couple in this case, a Church of Ireland girl was getting married to a Catholic guy, and on the morning of the wedding, his mum pulled out. She just didn't.
Well,
I've
heard of that. I've heard of that they won't. But what about the personal relationships? Is it hard to get on with the mother-in-law living in the same house?
No, not at all. I mean, we've, when we moved in, I suppose I didn't really know what we were going into.
Yeah.
But I mean, we get on great now. I mean, like as Robin says, she's mad about the gardening and whatever, whereas I have gramoxone fingers, So we've established a good relationship, and I mean, it works out very well. And even since we have published the book, we've had responses from other women, speaking about their experiences and about how they've dealt it.
No, it was a good thing to address as well. That idea of marrying. I mean, you've 2 daughters. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
They're not with you, Sarah and Ruth, and they're mad into the farming, I know, as well. And you will be at the Ploughing Championship selling copies of the book. Where is it published, and where can we buy it, Anne?
It's published by Laois Education Publishing, and it's on sale in Eason's in Portlaoise, and it's also on sale through our website, which is www.talbotsofcoolefarm.com. That's TALBOTSOFCOOLEFARM.com. But it will be on sale at the Ploughing on the Farming Independent stand, and it will also be on at Miller's Hardware, which is near the livestock section, and it'd be at a special price of €15 at the Ploughing.
Right, and you'll be signing copies of it there. Do you look forward to the Ploughing, Robin? You actually hosted the Ploughing on your farm a couple of times, didn't you?
We did. We had the privilege of being involved on 3 occasions.
3,
well,
right.
I suppose you could say 3.5.
Because the foot and mouth
we were just ready to go that year when it was closed. But it's a tremendous rural event to be involved in, and I suppose, like 1995 was the first year we had it, and we like to think David Lawler, my neighbour, was the host, and we like to think that was the ploughing. It was not unlike this year. The weather was excellent, and everyone was in good humour and whatever, and there was a huge crowd, and there was a real buzz about